What's up, everybody? I just kind of wanted to throw out a quick and casual video going over my potential Hardcore Blood Necromancer build and hopefully kind of start up some discussion about it with some of you viewers. I really think most of the builds you see right now are best guesses. People come up with these crazy video titles like Insane, Godmode, Immortal, Necromancer build and stuff like that, and I feel like it's kind of ridiculous. You can make a case for pretty much any build right now to be pretty good, honestly. We just don't know enough about the end game. We don't know if elites are going to be resistant to damage types to the point where you can't go all blood or all physical or all lightning or whatever it is. We just don't know enough. So these guys have played to level 25 and they claim that they've solved the game pretty much, right? So anyway, putting that aside, I just wanted to kind of share what my direction is, where I see my character going or where I want them to go. And this is, again, for a very safe day one blind playthrough Necromancer build. So it's very safe, let's put it that way. All right, so without any more delay, let's just start getting into it. Starts with Hemorrhage. It's your bread and butter skill. Has a pretty decent lucky hit chance. Can form Blood Orbs, which are excellent for what we're trying to do here. Blood Orbs will heal you for 15% of your maximum health. And actually there is a passive ability later down in the Necromancer tree where the Blood Orbs will also heal your minions. So yeah, Hemorrhage is huge. Enhanced Hemorrhage kind of sucks, but I mean, it's okay. Nothing special. Basically, when you pick up a Blood Orb, your next Hemorrhage deals damage to enemies around your target, and it grants 2 additional essence. Very low essence gain, and it doesn't really do a whole lot of damage itself, so, I mean, it helps you do a little bit more AoE damage, but I would have loved for this to have been some kind of increased single target damage ability instead. And then later on, we'll have Initiate's Hemorrhage. It's granting us base life as Fortify. That's the whole game plan here. It has a very rare chance to grant you 100% base life as Fortify, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, this is just, you're spamming Hemorrhage on the boss, whatever you're fighting, you're building up your Fortify. Simple as that. The alternative that you could easily pick early on is Acolyte's Hemorrhage. Grants you additional attack speed. Early on, you're feeling safe. You don't really need the Fortify early on in the game. So you could start with this, switch to this later on. From Hemorrhage, we move down where we'll pick up Blood Surge as soon as we can. Awesome skill. Looks amazing. Just this big explosion of blood. It hits everyone on the screen for a little bit. Hits the people right on top of you for a lot more. Very powerful skill. It costs a lot of essence, but I mean, for what it does, it's fantastic. Enhanced Blood Surge heals you a bit, heals you for more if you hit more people. Fantastic for our game plan of staying alive, staying steady, strong in hardcore mode, right? We don't know what's coming, so having a little bit of healing potentially on our main core skill is definitely a plus. And then Supernatural Blood Surge fortifies you. Again, if you have like a big group of enemies run up to you and you just pop one Blood Surge, you can get like 25% Fortify just from that, right? Like it's huge. And if you have over 50% Fortify, you're dealing 20% more with this thing. So excellent skill, blows up the screen, it does exactly what you want. From Blood Surge, I put 1 point into Hewed Flesh. It's great for generating corpses against bosses and stuff like that, where your army might get worked down, might get killed, they don't spawn any minions, and you need other corpses to resummon your army, right? Or keep them healthy. So at least 1 point into Hewed Flesh seems good. Don't have to do it early necessarily, but later on for sure. I was also putting 1 point into Bloodlance early. There's nothing else to put on your bar, and this is great single target damage. I've been spamming this against the bosses, and yeah, it's just a little more consistent than Blood Surge because, bosses, some of them are pretty mobile. They move away from you, and Blood Surge basically doesn't do much damage unless you're right on top of them, so this is a good alternative. I wouldn't pick up Unliving Energy or Imperfectly Balanced too early on. You pretty much want to just upgrade your abilities, but these definitely later on are pretty good. Imperfectly Balanced Increases the essence cost, but gives you a nice damage increase. And this build does lack a little bit of damage, so we kind of need every piece we can get. Moving down the tree, we go to Blood Mist, the must-have ability for hardcore, pretty much. Doesn't matter what Necromancer build you go, you're going to want Blood Mist on your bar. This is an oh shit button that just saves your life, makes you invulnerable for 3 seconds. You can still move to get out of danger, heals you for a bit as you move through the people that are trying to kill you. It's a lifesaver. I wouldn't get the extra skill points here for it early on. They're kind of garbage, but once you're looking to put your end game skill points in here, then some of these aren't bad. Of course, we want more Fortify if we can get it, and casting a skill that overpowers reduces the cooldown, and we can actually trigger overpower a little bit better than some classes with some of our later passives, so this helps. But hopefully you don't need to crack this thing every 16 to 18 seconds, and it just sits unused for most of the time. Beyond Blood Mist on this tier, we pick up Skeletal Warrior Mastery. This build will be using minions. I know a lot of people say, oh, God tier build, don't need to use minions, I can't die. They're talking about level 20 shit. I mean, they don't know. The minions have been fantastic for me. I think my minion management is fine. They die, I spawn new ones. I've fought bosses so far where the boss doesn't even look at me because he's too busy fighting the minions. Just kill the whole boss for free. So as you can afford the points, like you're not moving down and picking up new skills, I start putting points in this. If you can find the legendary early where you can get extra warriors and stuff, this just becomes even better. But yeah, the late game will be very heavy minion oriented, and we definitely want 3 points in this. Moving down the tree, we go to Death's Embrace. I love the name of this passive, and what it does is amazing as well. Close enemies take 6% more damage from you and deal 9% less damage to you. So for 3 points, this thing's just an all-star. The game plan is for us to be on top of people using Blood Surge to do the bonus damage. You're blowing people up, so you're always close to people. It's just a great skill, and especially in hardcore, yet again, damage reduction, that's what we want. Simple. Must put 3 points into this. Now, moving from that, we have a bit of a choice. I think early on, one of the curses works. It doesn't really matter which one, but I've gone with Iron Maiden here. I think it just adds to your damage because enemies are damaging themselves as they hit you or your minions. Enhanced Iron Maiden's pretty good. It doesn't cost you essence anymore. It actually gains you essence, which is great. I wouldn't go for this early on. This is more of a later game thing, but a fantastic way to heal yourself. Heal for 5% of your maximum life when an enemy dies while afflicted. You can just, considering Blood Surge heals you as well, and you're probably going to cast this on a group of minions and then blow them up, you can go from 0 to 100 real quick. And in hardcore, it just increases your margin of safety, basically. The alternative, when at least 3 enemies are afflicted by Iron Maiden, its damage is increased by 15%. It's okay. I mean, like some elites and stuff like that, you're only going to be fighting 1, 2 of them at a time, so this won't do anything against them or bosses or anything, so kind of weak. But the alternative, Decrepify, this is a strong pick for hardcore, honestly. Enemies are slowed by 40% and deal 20% less damage for 10 seconds. This is just a controlling spell. This is, you're controlling space and slowing down the fight and making it safer for yourself. Definitely nothing wrong with it. Later on, I should note that the way I have the build plan right now, I won't be using any curse because I want to use Golem and minions, but that could change, right? Anything could change. We don't know how the game's going to be later on. So Decrepify is a great skill overall. It has a lucky hit skill. Enemies hit while afflicted with Decrepify have up to a 10% chance to be stunned for 2 seconds. Kind of not going to happen very often, and when it does, it's probably not going to matter much, but who knows? Maybe you want even more control. When you or your minions hit an enemy afflicted with Decrepify below 10% life, they are instantly killed. Not a fan of this. Most times, you know, if they're below 10% life, they're pretty much dead anyway. I don't know. It seems like overkill to me, pretty much. But another lucky hit, enemies hit while afflicted with Decrepify have up to a 15% chance to reduce your active cooldowns by 1 second. Doesn't work for my build, really. I'm sure you could build something around it where this would be much more effective. But yeah, just not part of the game plan right now. And from that, just the Skeletal Mage Mastery increases the damage and life of your Skeletal Mages by 60%. Huge for our game plan here, obviously. Just like the one previous here. 45% for the warriors, 60% for the mages. The mages actually do pretty decent damage. If you can keep them alive and they're just sitting there wailing on a boss, pretty good. Pretty good, especially if you get the aspect where you can get more of them, even better. So we picked this up for this build. Again, only put points in this when you don't need them for your active skills. But at this point, yeah, you start to look for other places to kind of pick up some passives. So great skill. Moving down from that to a tree where we don't really take anything except passives. Starts with the blood passives here. There is 5 of them, and they're all quite good in their own way. It starts with Gruesome Mending. You have to pick this before you can pick the other ones. But while below 50% life, you receive 20% more healing from all sources. So, again, we're playing on hardcore. If we manage to get chunked, you might get shotgunned down. That's usually how people die in hardcore. But this, you know, let's say you just get hit below 50% life, just as you're going to use a Blood Surge. Now the Blood Surge is going to heal you more, and this is giving you a 20% bonus. It's actually 10, 20, 30% based on the skill points. That's excellent. Synergizes with Iron Maiden if you use this. It's just good. You at least want 1 point in this, I think. But I have it pinned at 2. Of course, not finalized. But yeah. Transfusion. Huge. Must use. Blood Orbs also heal your minions for 15% of the amount. You could crank this up to 45%, which might be the game plan later. If you feel like, hey, with this skill, I'm keeping everyone alive and healthy, I think it's totally worth it. Your minions are going to be doing a lot of damage for you, especially on boss fights, which is our weakness. So, yeah, this is a great little skill. I can't decide how many points yet, but at least 1. From Transfusion, we dip on down to Tides of Blood. Your blood skills deal 5% increased overpower damage. This bonus is doubled while you're healthy. So it could be 30% while you're healthy. Overpower is kind of awkward at times. We will trigger big overpowers because we have Fortify. It works well with Rathma's Vigor, where after being healthy for 15 seconds, your next blood skill overpowers. So, I mean, you could get big boy hits out of this, but it's not consistent, right? Again, I can't decide how many points. You kind of got to do some math on this one, but yeah, 1 point's fine. You're going to be healthy, 10% extra damage on your overpower. But for now, I'm not putting anything else in there. From Tides of Blood, we move up to Coalesced Blood. Yeah, while healthy, your blood skills deal 18% increased damage. I mean, yeah, we're gonna be healthy all the time. This is a must-have 3-point skill. We're kind of low on damage with this build, really, because we have so much health and safety and Fortify. So any extra damage we can get is key. This obviously, Tides of Blood is extra damage, but it's not as consistent. There's probably a case to be made where you just max out all these if you can find the points, and I can totally see that point. But for now, you know, I'm being stingy on the skill points. Not quite sure what I want to do until I actually see it and experience it a bit. So, but this is definitely a 3-point skill. And lastly, we move over to Drain Vitality. Lucky hit chance. Hitting enemies with blood skills has up to a 25% chance to fortify you for 5% of your base life. It actually goes from 2% to 5 to 8. So the first point only gets you 2. The second point adds an additional 3. And then the third point is another 3. So good skill, obviously, for what we want. More fortified is better. And we're using blood skills nonstop. The whole build's blood, blood, blood. So I think a 2 points in here at least. If somehow we feel like we need more fortify, more, then we crank this up to 3. But for now, at least 2 points I think is fine here. as far as I can figure out the math anyway. From Drain Vitality, we just go to the last passive on this tier, Necrotic Carapace. When a corpse is formed from your skills or your minions, fortify for 4% base life. Okay, good. Our Reaper minions can form corpses, potentially, but it also synergizes well with Hewed Flesh, where we create corpses ourselves. So I think this is fantastic against bosses. That's basically, our big weakness is probably going to be bosses and single target damage. So this just helps the case. This is going to add corpses. This is going to make us fortify when we add those corpses. So we want to be safe, steady, healthy. This is hardcore mode. I don't want to die at level 45 on the Act 3 boss. I want to, be safe and consistent. So this helps that game plan a lot. It makes the case to increase Hewed Flesh, of course, especially with this chance being doubled against bosses. But yeah, it goes hand in hand with that, and it's very strong. So this is 2 or 3 points at least. I feel like if you go 3 points in this, then you should go 3 points in Hewed Flesh, especially if you feel like you're weak against bosses. Okay, and from there we're going down to basically the last tier here, but we get our ultimates finally. We're picking up Blood Wave. I don't have much experience with Blood Wave, of course, but it seems good for what we want to do. 50-second cooldown, 20% lucky hit chance. Conjure a tidal wave of blood that deals 90% damage and knocks back enemies. Kind of a get off me, oh shit, maybe I'm in a bad spot. Maybe I work myself into a corner and I'm surrounded. So this can kind of grant you that space. The Prime Blood Wave slows enemies by 50% for 4 seconds. Kind of wish this was something different, but there's situations that could be useful. Now you're not only pushing them off you, but now they're 50% slowed for 4 seconds. So it gives you even more time to react, more time to move, and get yourself some space. So not too bad, I guess, for 1 point. Could be worse. And then Supreme Blood Wave. Blood Wave leaves behind 3 blood orbs as it travels. So pretty big. 3 blood orbs is a 45% max HP heal for us. And then with transfusion, that's healing our minions as well. So 3 blood orbs for free, not too bad. I mean, if you're using this, you're probably in a shitty situation, unless you're just cracking it to look like a badass and do some damage, right? But you might be in trouble. So having these blood orbs there, not bad at all. Not to mention there's some aspects that deal with blood orbs as well, but that's a different story. But yeah, overall, Blood Wave seems like it's going to be fun, and that's what we're going to use for now anyway. Moving over from Blood Wave is Golem Mastery. Increase the damage and life of your golem by 75%. So yeah, we're making our boy a beefy boy, basically. I'm very excited to use the golem. I hope his AI is pretty clean and he actually has a brain where he hits stuff consistently. But Blood Golem's going to be awesome, and this just makes him into a beast. And then from Golem Mastery, we just hop over to a couple other passives that are all just for the minions, and they're quite good overall. Bonded in essence, every 5 seconds, your Skeletal Priest's healing will heal your skeletons for an additional 20% of their maximum life. Now, this one I didn't get to test, or I can't find the answer really, but is it automatic every 5 seconds, or is it when I use my Skeletal Priest, then he will heal for an additional 20% of their maximum life? Because he heals them a bit automatically, but I don't know yet, but no matter what, free healing sounds good to me. So at least 1 point into this. I think 3 points is probably overkill, but again, we don't know. Maybe the minions are getting smashed out later on in the game. Death's Defense, this is a must-have 1 point for sure. Your minions cannot lose more than 75% of their maximum life from a single damage instance. This could be a 3-pointer, honestly. It goes down to 45%, but basically your minions can't be blown up by some random shit now. A boss winds up with a big attack, all your minions are standing right in front of him, and he just wipes them all out in one swing. Can't happen if you have this. Huge. This is great. Hellbent Commander, your minions deal 30% increased damage while you are close to them. Well, if we're using Blood Surge and Blood Mist and Hemorrhage and Blood Wave, our whole build is based around being kind of upfront and personal with the enemy. So this is just like our minions do 30% increased damage all the time practically. Excellent 3 points there. And then Inspiring Leader. After you have been healthy for at least 4 seconds, you and your minions gain 12% attack speed. Well, we're going to be healthy a lot, hopefully, and this just fits right into the whole game plan. Healthy, steady, consistent damage, and this is basically a 12% attack speed buff. Really helps with Hemorrhage too, because Hemorrhage kind of feels bad, the animation sometimes. It's not terrible, but like, I don't know. Attack speed feels nice on it, especially when you're kiting. But excellent skill, 3 points in this for sure. And finally, from the skill points section at least, we get Rathma's Vigor. So it's kind of boring how it works, but I mean, here's 10% more max life. Great. That increases our Fortify cap. That increases basically, you know, a Blood Orb heals us for 15% of our max health. So now we get additional healing out of that. So 10% max life is pretty good. After being healthy for 15 seconds, your next blood skill overpowers. Okay, that's all right. I don't know. I wish it was something more interesting, to be honest with you, but whatever. It works. It increases the damage. We will be healthy quite often, so this will keep triggering, but kind of boring compared to some of the other ones. But yeah, I mean, we take it. It fills out the build, and for hardcore, this is an all-star, so excellent. Now to finish up really quick, I don't want to go into like the Paragon board and all that stuff, but I just wanted to go over the minions really quickly. So we are going to be using Raised Skeleton and Golem, which takes up 2 slots. For the minions themselves, like the melee minions, I think you have a lot of choices. Like I've put it here to go with defenders with the upgrade. I just want them to be beefy. I just want them to be around and soak up damage and block enemies and annoy bosses and just do constant damage. So every 8 seconds, your skeletal defenders negate the next instance of direct damage they would take. Again, a boss winds up with a big swing. Now he doesn't even hit them at all every 8 seconds. He just does nothing. And with all of our other passives for our minions stacking up, yeah, these guys just sit there and just beat the crap out of the boss. So it seems pretty good. The alternative is increase the amount of thorns. Well, we're not going to thorns build, so we don't need it. Sacrifice I could see using potentially, depending on how the game goes in the late game. But right now I'd rather have like 5 bodies, 3 to 5 bodies blocking for me and doing damage than just getting 15% non-physical resistance. So I'll be using them for now. The alternative also is Reapers. They have a 15% chance to carve the flesh off enemies, forming a corpse. Well, we know when they form a corpse, we get Fortify health. So that's pretty good, but I don't have much time, or I haven't had much time to test the Reapers. And honestly, half the time when I watch them do their wind-up attack, they just miss. Like, I don't know. I think it needs to be improved, but yeah, that's it for the Skeletal Warrior side anyway. I don't go with the Warriors themselves. They seem to die too easily. That might change, but for now, we're sticking with the tanks to go with us. And then from the tanks, we just scoot over Skeletal Mages. Now, there's no type of Blood Mage or anything. That would have been badass, but I mean, I guess Bone is kind of that niche. But I've put here the cold Skeletal Mages that give us Essence. Basically, we can run low on Essence sometimes. Blood Surge uses a lot, and you can use it quickly. 3 clicks is 90 essence gone. So I've gone with this. It also slows the fight a little bit because the cold mages freeze them. Again, we want slow and steady, but I think you can make a case for a lot of things. The overpower, again, if we go all into that overpower build with Rathma's Vigor passive and everything, you might just sacrifice them and not use anything. Bone Mages, I didn't really get to see their damage too much, but this is an interesting skill that I wanted to really test, but I totally forgot. And basically, when they kill themselves, They leave behind a corpse and fortify you for 11% of your base life. I wonder how often that actually happens. How often do they get themselves low on health and then something else kills them, right? So I'm curious to see how often this triggers, but leaving a corpse and fortifying you for 11% of your health is considerable. But for now, safe and steady. That's all we're going to go for. Cold mages give us extra essence. We're good to go there. And from cold mages, we're moving over to the golems, and it's a no-brainer. We're taking the blood golem. He drains life from nearby enemies to heal and bolster itself. Sounds awesome. He looks awesome. We've got the 75% extra health and damage from the passives that we picked up. I'm going with upgrade 1 here. Your blood golem absorbs 15% of damage you would take. It's just a safe choice. It's until we know more, until I've seen how powerful I can be, this is where we're going. The alternative sounds awesome as well, but while healthy, your blood golem gains 25% damage reduction and 50% increased damage. So this guy's just in the mix, doing 75% extra damage from the other passives, 50% extra from this. He's draining the life of people. He's taking 25% less damage. This guy's a beast. If you're feeling strong, I would take this. If you're starting to feel like, oh shit, maybe I haven't had an upgrade for a while and I'm at risk, then stick with upgrade 1. But this is excellent as well. And the alternative is to have no golem but 10% max life. No thanks. I would rather have this big body there blocking 15% max or 15% of damage anyway. 10% max life, it's not enough. So yeah, we're sticking with this for the golem for sure. And that's pretty much it for the build as it stands. Things will change as we play and kind of experience the game more and see what's hiding in the later acts. I don't really want to get into all the aspects and Paragon board stuff yet, just because a lot of it's pretty subjective. You might not find a certain aspect or something like that for quite a while, or a certain item. So we'll go back to that in the future when we actually have seen the full game and we can actually discuss a full real build. If you watched to the end of the video, if you're still here, I really appreciate it. I rambled a lot more than I thought I would during this, but hey, I like talking about this stuff, so be it. And if you like the video, that's great. I'm super happy about that. If you have any feedback or input or anything you want to share about your own build or what you think about my build, I would love to hear it. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.